Hi guys, I'm here to bring you another deck recipe today, and I hope you guys like this one. I mean, it took me a while to make this, and for those of you who viewed my last my last video that I put up, which I believe was my Exodia deck, thank you very much for your reviews. And yeah, let's get into this deck right now, shall we? We have it's an elemental hero deck, as you guys can see. So let's get into the deck. We have Dark Hole, 3 emergency call. Emergency call allows you to search your elemental heroes. So you basically play this and you can search for any elemental hero in your deck. So it's really good. 1 copy of Fusion Recovery. Fusion Recovery allows you to bring an elemental hero deck, or elemental hero, excuse me, and polymerization back from the grave. So it's really good. Then you got Fusion Sage. Fusion Sage allows you to search your deck for polymerization. 1 Lightning Vortex. Lightning Vortex basically for clearing your opponent's field. If you have a card like, say, Necroshade in your hand, and you can't, everybody knows you can't play Necroshade, you know, summon Necroshade normally, or you know, so basically what you do is in that case, if you have Necroshade in your hand and your opponent has a bunch of cards on the field, you can play this and destroy your opponent's monsters by ditching Necroshade to the grave. Then you got Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion, basically the way it works is if you have 1 elemental hero in the graveyard, one elemental hero in the graveyard and 1 on the field, and those 2 can fuse. You can you can fuse the 1 in the graveyard with the 1 on the field and bring out whatever you need to, whatever those monsters fuse into. 3 polymerizations. I prefer to run polymerization over Fusion Gate because Fusion Gate is basically risky, and the way I have this deck set up, polymerization, you're never without a polymerization. Polymerization is great. Fusion Gate, if it gets destroyed, you're basically screwed, and I've seen a lot of people get screwed over because, you know, somebody MSTs their Fusion Gate or whatever. So yeah. 2 Pot of Duality. Pot of Duality in this case, I'm only running 2 because it's kind of risky in this deck, because you can't fusion summon after you play it. So the way I see it is you only play it when you have to, basically. Play it when you're in a tight spot. Basically what it does is you search, you flip the top 3 cards in your deck and you can choose 1 to bring to your hand. 3 Righteous Justice. Righteous Justice is basically, to me, is like a Heavy Storm in a way. Only it depends on how many heroes you have on the field and how many trap cards your opponent has laying down, because this card only works if you have a bunch of heroes on the field and your opponent has a bunch of trap cards. You can basically wipe out the trap cards that the number of trap cards according to the number of heroes that you have. Then I'm running 3 of those, and then I'm also running 1 Regeki. Regeki's good for monster clearance. Everybody knows what Regeki does. Skyscraper, because you basically need Skyscraper in a hero deck. Who doesn't run Skyscraper in a hero deck? I mean, it's just a necessity. I mean, the heroes need the extra power. So 2 Swords of Revealing Light for protection. 2 Dark Bribes. Now Dark Bribe is really good in this deck because it stops basically all the spells and traps that might hurt elemental heroes. Then you got 2 Mirror Force. Mirror Force is really good in this deck. I mean, it stops you from being swarmed, and it can save you from the game ending, so that you could actually come back. So yeah. Solemn Warning. Solemn Warning is really good, but you gotta know when to play it. I mean, you do have to give up 2,000 life points, but it does actually stop every single thing. It stops special summons, it stops normal summons, it stops spell cards from being activated against you that might hurt you, or trap cards that might be activated against you that might hurt you. Then you got Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tribute is really good for when you're being swarmed and your opponent, like if your opponent has nearly a field full of monsters and only needs to summon one more monster, you know, you can, as soon as he summons that last monster, you can wipe out every single one of his monsters, and people hate that. You know, because they're like, oh, I'm gonna win, and then they have this sprung on them. It's just, it kills them. It's like so great. The reason I'm not running Avion and Burstititrix in this deck is because those are the weaker heroes of the lot, and you know, I don't have any use for them in this deck, whereas Clayman and Sparkman are actually stronger, you know. So, and plus they have better fusions, so that's why I run them over Avian and Burstititrix. But we're running 2 Clayman, 2 Sparkman, Blade Edge for Blade Edge and Wild Heart to make Wild Edge. I mean, or you could, or for Blade Edge specifically, to do piercing damage. I mean, if you have Necroshade in the graveyard, you can summon Blade Edge without a sacrifice, and basically attack your opponent. Plus he has 2600 attack, so yeah, you can get basically you can get Blade Edge. And then we got 2 Bubblemen for you know, his effect, and he also has you also have Elemental Hero Absolution in this deck, so he's really good. Captain Gold allows you to bring Skyscraper from your deck to your hand, so he's really good. Necroshade, when he's in the grave, you can basically summon a high level monster, in this case Blade Edge, without a sacrifice. And you got Elemental Hero Prisma, allows you to dump one hero every turn, one hero from your deck to the graveyard, which is really good when you want to use Miracle Fusion. Then we have 1 Elemental Hero Wild Heart. Wild Heart is like the Jinzo of the deck. Wild Heart is not affected by traps, so he allows you to get over your opponent's traps. Plus he's good with Blade Edge to form Wild Edge again. Then you got Elemental Hero Woodsman at 1, because Elemental Hero Woodsman allows you to get polymerization from your deck or your graveyard to your hand, so yeah, he's really good. We got Rottweiler. Rottweiler allows you to as soon as he's destroyed by a battle, he allows you to bring a polymerization or an elemental hero from your a polymerization and an elemental hero, sorry, from your graveyard to your hand. So yeah, basically he's a rescue dog. I like to call him my rescue dog. Now we got elemental for the fusions. We have Elemental Hero Absolute Zero, basically really good for, because if your opponent destroys him, it basically nukes all of your opponent's monsters on the field. Then you got Necro Shaman, basically the fusion of Wild Heart along with Necroshade. And what he does is you can, as soon as he's special summoned, your opponent's monster gets destroyed, and then you can bring back an opponent's weaker monster and summon it to his side of the field, and then destroy his monster all over again. So yeah, Thunder Giant has a really good special ability, and I'm running 3 of them. because I love Thunder Giant. Thunder Giant allows you to destroy an opponent's monster who is weaker than him. So yeah, he's really good. Then we have Elemental Hero Wild Edge. Wild Edge basically can attack your opponent's monsters, you know, as many monsters as your opponent has on the field. That's how many attacks he gets. So he can basically help you stop from being swarmed and get you out of tight situations. Then we got Vision Hero Adoration. Vision Hero Adoration is really good, and I'm running 2 of them in the deck because Vision Hero Adoration allows you to lower your opponent's monster's attack by the second monster that you might have on the field. So yeah, so you basically lower your opponent's monster's attack. You basically choose your opponent's monster, then choose the second monster that you have on the field, and whatever your second monster's attack is, that's what your opponent's monster's attack gets lowered by. So it's really good for making your opponent's monster weaker, and then you can destroy your opponent's monster. Elemental Hero, not Elemental Hero, Vision Hero Trinity. Vision Hero Trinity allows you to attack 3 times in the battle phase. The only drawback to him is that you can't attack your opponent's life points directly, but you know, it's really good. And hence why he's in the deck. Comic Hero Arthur. Comic Hero Arthur, and these are Xyz summons, by the way. Comic Hero Arthur basically gains 500, and you know, by detaching Xyz material from him, he gains 500, and you can also inflict 500 to your opponent. So that's really good. Heroic Champion Excalibur. If you detach Xyz materials from him, his attack gets doubled until the end of your opponent's next turn. So he's really good to have. Heroic Champion Gandiva. Gandiva is really good for if your opponent basically special summons something, you can detach an Xyz monster to destroy that special summon. And then the final card is Leviathan Dragon. Leviathan Dragon is really good in this deck because he gets powered up when you detach a Xyz material from him. So yeah, guys, that's the deck, and I hope you guys enjoy the deck. If you guys have any questions or comments about the deck, please leave them in the bottom of the description. And yeah, thanks for watching.